Stop losses. They sound great, don't they? Who wouldn't want to stop their losses? However, despite being one of the most popular strategies amongst retail investors, stop losses are really bad at stopping your losses and really good at stopping your gains. I'm Charles. I've been building stock market analysis tools for 8 years, and I run HelloStocks.ai, where my totally free to use stock strategy screeners have been beating the market on average since I started sharing them publicly with you wonderful people. So I'm all about spotting trends in financial data to help us find better long-term investing opportunities. Which brings me back to the stop loss. The idea is that you set a sell order to execute, usually automatically, once a stock drops below a certain price, often thresholds like 15% below the price which I bought at. And of course, some people just do this manually when the stock drops rather than setting up an automatic order. Either way, it's the same result. The idea is to limit your losses to 15%, so you don't get any mega 60% drops. Sounds great, right? Except stop losses don't do what people want them to do. Let's think about this the other way, because almost no one would think it's a good strategy to buy a stock just because the share price had risen 15%. But for some reason, people do think it's a good strategy to sell a stock simply because it's dropped 15%. It isn't. You should pretty much never set a stop loss unless it's based on some form of fundamental valuation. And let me prove it. I tracked each of the USA's top 500 stocks since 2012. I then tested a strategy of simply buying the stock at the start and holding it the entire time versus 24 different variations of stop loss strategy based on share price drops. I then measured how many stocks beat the simple buy and hold strategy for each one. Here are the results. We have stop losses based on multiple levels of drops, buying back in at multiple different entry points after 1 month, after 3 months, or simply where the price rebounds back to the price where you sold it. 24 different stop loss strategies versus one simple buy and never sell strategy. But still, in every single case, the strategy of simply buying and holding the stocks significantly outperform any of the stop loss strategies. In fact, the most successful stop loss strategies were these ones. The ones where you sell after a trailing decline, but then buy back in quickly, just 1 month later. In other words, the most successful stop loss strategies were really the ones where you realized you shouldn't have sold in the first place and buy back in as quickly as possible. These results are horrible. 17 of the 24 stop loss strategies lost out to buy and hold in over 80% of the stocks. Cutting your losses because a stock has dropped by a random amount you just decide is too much does not make sense. Not unless there's some fundamental reason that you no longer believe that company is a good investment. And particularly during market-wide drops, the rise back can be very, very quick. It's called a V-shaped recovery. And if you look back through pretty much any historical dip or downturn, you'll almost certainly see one of these V shapes. But if you sold out of the stock, you'd miss that recovery. Far from stopping losses, most of the time what you're really doing is locking in those losses, doomed to inevitably sell the stock when you're 15% down, miss the recovery, and then buy back in to repeat it all over again. Stocks drop all the time. If you don't like that, and some people don't, then honestly, this is the wrong game to play. But if you want to know when to buy and sell a stock based on the fundamentals, one of the key skills is being able to value that stock. So watch this video here to see exactly how I value stocks using a way better data-backed method than just the traditional PE and PB ratios.